Good morning, afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hey Kathy, hey Sarah, how you doing? Hi Haida, hey BL, hi again BL. Saw you, oh we just had a session then. Hey Vel, how you doing? Did you finish the watching the video from the previous stream? Let me know. To you it's probably a long and extra long stream, so. Hey Diana, so yeah, we did. Gil, how you doing? We did a. Oh, I did a stream just then at 12 o'clock GMT plus 8, where I was talking about the RBA. Did a bit of a live trading session for the RBA news piece. Did see many names, familiar names on that session. Closed out that trade at plus 30 pips. I think it did continue lower, but I did just had to close out the trade to switch my mind and focus onto the live stream together with you guys. So not saying that it's because of you guys that I'm closing up my trade early, but 30 pips from a news event took a little bit longer than we expected, but still a good result. So I'm very pleased with that. If you haven't already, go check out the video from the stream, the replay. Hey D-Train, how you doing? Right, so that was good session. I am planning to do more sessions like that whenever there's a big news event or significant. I want to say it's big, a significant news event. Aim to do that. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel because it's only going to be streamed on YouTube with little to no warning. So it's just whenever I have the chance, have the time, have the thought process to do that, then I'll jump on. Okay. Very good to see you, Train. Good morning, Goju. How you doing? Let's give it 2 more minutes. Started. Hey, June. Just head to YouTube and you'll find me, or jump onto the Discord channel and you'll see the links for everything there. Set up. That should be the YouTube. Okay. If you are new to the session, do drop a message. Say hi. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're ready to go. Let me know where you're joining us from as well. A lot of things to let me know about because there is a lot of things that I'll let you know about markets. Hey, Ether from Belgium. Good to see you again. Welcome back. Hey, Phantom FX. Hey, Laney. Hey, Spiros. How are you doing? We had many good trade setups from yesterday. The Kiwi played out perfectly. The Aussie played out well. The US yen did super as well. So let me know how you guys went with all those. The gold did fantastic as well. Right? So let me know how you guys went with that. I am on my 3rd cup of coffee. So hey Romeo, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Alrighty, so let's get started. Again, welcome. Thank you for joining me. You could have done anything else for today, but you are choosing to spend this 1 hour with me on the daily market analysis. So major props to you. Big clap to all of you for joining me on the session. During this daily market analysis, what I will be doing is looking at the fundamentals, what has happened, giving a review of that, and then also planning ahead with the fundamentals of the news coming up. Then we'll look at the technicals in terms of where price is and where price could head towards. Then after that, trade setups items on the H1 time frame or look for some possible setups that I'll be sharing with you. These are really just thought processes of mine, my watch list, what I'm looking at to jump into. So as I share that with you, please remember the disclaimer applies. Any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. The contents of this webinar is not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product. It is my thoughts, my views, my ideas. So please do your own due diligence before you do jump into any trades. Your objectives, financial situation, and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. If you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat. Whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on TradingView or Trading.live, put it into the chat. I have all the screens open. I'm watching everything. It might be a little bit laggy, but I'm there. I'll get to that question sooner or later. All right. And if you can help me out massively, click that like and subscribe button. And if you'd like to take our discussions beyond this session, jump onto Discord. You also can book a session, a one-to-one session with me. I can help you with your psychology or strategy development or trade review. So just having a chat to tweak the mindset, tweak the approach will possibly help you trade better. For those of you who have already done the one-to-one session, I'll put that quick short review of what you thought about the one-to-one session, right? With that, you sit so still. I don't. I'm moving around all the time. So if looks like I'm sitting very still, check to make sure that I'm still connected. All right, it hasn't hung. Phantom FX has got. Yeah, you both of you phantoms are confusing me. I thought it was two of the same person, but the Phantom 2 and Phantom FX. Good to have you guys with us. Quick question from Val there. Jin, in your experience, does September move differently as the summer is considered finished? Quick answer is no. I had questions yesterday from one of the clients where he was saying, do I think about the Asia session, and then does it change differently to the UK European session, and does it change? Do I think about closing off trades before heading into the US session? In terms of session timings, I'm sitting here from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's one big session to me. So I don't differentiate between sessions of a day. I do my trades based on the setups. Then based on the month, I don't look at it that way. I don't think of particular month being moving differently to another month. There is the common saying, sell in May, go away. But that applies more to the equity side, not so much in FX, because some things change the world, right? And that's going to affect currency regardless of what month it is. If, for example, Russia goes to war with Ukraine, that's going to change everything. Or the central bank decides to do a QE or increase rates or cut rates, or inflation goes out of whack, that's going to change the way prices move, and it's regardless of the different month. So I don't think of the month too much. The main things that I pay a bit of more attention to is I know that during Easter, we do see a very quiet market because most of the world is away, and not trading, so market gets really quiet. And I used to think that Christmas period is really quiet, but actually there are very good opportunities, short-term opportunities, Christmas period, because it is end of the year. So professional or institutions are closing off books, rebalancing books. So we do sort of spikes during Christmas period as well. So sometimes if you're with Christmas not really coming up, but on the horizon, that could be some good opportunity. Who will be trading? Yours truly. All right. With that, Hope I answered your question there, Vel. And good morning, Carsten. How are you doing? All right, so with that, let's get to it. So, no worries, Vel. So what we had last night was a super quiet market. All that we were saying in Discord to each other was, it's so quiet, I'm going to sleep. So quiet, it's so sleepy. Right, so nothing much happened yesterday since we spoke, because the US was on a Labor Day long weekend, and also the Canadians were on a Labor Day long weekend. So during the US timing, or late in the session, was pretty much sitting in consolidation, not a lot of things happening. But with all quietness comes back with big volatility. This morning, just showing you the dollar index first. This was yesterday, so pretty much from Monday, yeah, from like 5 o'clock, this dollar index is set along that 104 level, pushed up a little bit, came back down, and just along that range, along 104.10, didn't do too much. All that quietness. This morning we saw a big spike, trace, and now a big push up on the dollar index, and that's reflected right across the board. Later you'll see when I scroll through the other currency pairs as well. So volatility seems to be back, or liquidity seems to be back with a bit of a bang. Firstly, driven by the RBA. 12:30 p.m. GMT plus 8, we had their cash rate, the interest rate from the RBA, stayed at 4.1% as expected, right? Stayed at 4.1% as expected. The live stream I did during that time, so I went on at 12. We prepped for this. We did some back analysis. Then we waited for the news. Came out 4.1. Rate statement didn't change too much. The only thing I was highlighting at that time was that they said inflation has passed its, right? Inflation has passed its peak. Compared to, try and find it quickly, the one on 1st of August, it says that inflation is still declining but still too high, right? So bit of a change in thoughts from the RBA. Inflation has passed its peak, but it's still too high and will remain so for some time, right? So that's the only difference there, which, if you think about it, when the RBA says inflation has gone up and it's past its peak on the downward push, downward trend, and then they've held rates at 4.1%, the consideration that further tightening of monetary policy may be required to ensure that inflation returns to target in a reasonable time frame seems to be a little bit less threatening, considering that inflation has passed. Okay, and that's why we actually saw from the news event, right at that point, at 12 o'clock, it was at 0.6425, went all the way down within the next hour to the downside, now threatening that support level at 6377. Okay, so that was the move that we spoke about during the live session just a couple of hours ago. That was the setup that we were looking at yesterday. So it all worked out very nicely. And right now, the Aussie dollar is at that support level. This is an example of the considerations of the thought process I went through during the live stream. We're looking at the entry, conditions for entry, RBA cash rate decision. What was the previous trend? So cash rate decision, hold at 4.1%, a little bit dovish, pointing to the downside. Previous trend also pointing to the downside. Key levels, it's rejected that resistance, pushing down towards the support. Exit, based on our previous analysis, show you here. In August, where they held rates. We saw it drop by about 90 pips over the next couple of hours. Then in July, we actually saw, again at 4.1%, a brief push before bouncing up because of the previous trend. So that was a 30 pip push to the downside. Then in June, previous trend was pushing up. It was a news event. They increased rates. So we saw the Aussie dollar push upside also about 60. So what you see is that it was 60, almost 70 pips. It was about 30 pips. Then it was about 80, 90 pips to the downside. So because of that, at that point, we were looking at a previous move. We were considering between 30 to 70 pips. At that point where I was looking to enter, there was a good almost 50 pips to the downside. So it all worked out quite nicely with the next support level. So we've got entry conditions, we have exit conditions all there. Now, the next question is, will the Aussie dollar break that support and head further to the downside? I'll tell you more about that shortly. Amazing move. Thanks for that. Well, John Nguyen says TradingView channel was offline. Guys on TradingView, is it? -minute off. Idea why it shows that it's on. For you guys, give me a second. I'm just at TradingView. Good. Hi, Eddie. When is the guard speak about that shortly? Congratulations, can you enter trade? I just did that. Hi, Gerard. Yes, train is on TradingView. Told you sounds great. We're here. No issue. All good. Okay. So Don on YouTube, TradingView seems to be back up. I think there was some quirkiness that was happening there, but it seems back online. Okay. Good to have you all still here with. Fantastic. Hey, Ola. Hi, Akame. My trade is disabled on my Forex fund. Will it be active after the settled? Dude, if you're waiting for my Forex fund to settle, it's gonna take a very, very, very time. Check out my YouTube. There is a video about that. Say no issue. Fresh. Okay, so if you have just jumped onto the YouTube channel and you're saying that TradingView has an issue, maybe just click refresh. It might come back. Alrighty. So technical issue aside, back to it. That was the RBA interest rate decision. 4.1%. We've done that. We've talked about the entry. We talked about the exit. Made money. I made 30 pips on that. I was out. I can actually show you that I was looking at it on a 5-minute time frame. I got out at about that, just as it was pushing up. Just as it was pushing up a little bit, and that was at 4:30. I thought, I'll just get out. My target was down at this point. Get out, and then don't have to worry about it or the stream. I'll look to get in again if it breaks that. Okay, so that was a good move, a good news, good session that we had. With all that said, just had the Spanish services PMI release. It was 52.8, expected 51.6, came out at 49.3. In 30 minutes, we have the Italian. After that, we have the French. Then after that, we have the German services PMI. Don't worry about all those individually. Main thing I'll look at is the final services PMI for the Eurozone at 4 p.m. GMT plus 8, and the final services PMI for the UK at 4:38. And you see that 48.3 expected, 48.3 looks like it might be staying the same for the Eurozone and UK. However, I think that price might move down, the euro and the pound might move down, not because of the services PMI, but possibly because of the current strength of the dollar that we're seeing right now. Okay, and then moving on, not much else. Okay, GDT price index, sometimes it does have some craziness to the key, but I don't think it's much at this point in time. Then on to tomorrow, 9:30 plus 8. We do have the Aussie, the GDP quarter on quarter, GDP looking to stay up 0.2, expected 0.3. Think that likely to be at that 0.2, 0.3 number, but I don't think it's going to bring any upside to the Aussie dollar. Maybe pause on the downside slightly, but I do anticipate a continuation to the downside, especially if it breaks below the current support level. Then all through to that, if a bit, we do have monetary policy report hearings from the UK, and then Bank of Canada with the interest rate decision. I'll tell you more about that tomorrow during our live stream. And also, I might be doing a live stream during this news event. So make sure you tune in for that. Okay. What's your risk to reward on the Aussie? That was a 20 pip stop loss, 40 pip take profit, a 1:2 risk reward ratio for the Aussie dollar to the downside. Then the previous one also about 1:2, 30 pip stop, pip take. Okay, ready. Good, good, good. Now with all that done, let's look at the charts. All right, so now look at the side. Alrighty. Okay, now with the way the dollar index is moving, we were looking at this to come down, look for it to break that support 104 and then come down to test that 50% level before pushing back up again. Did not retrace as much as we expected. Our secondary thought was that it comes down and test and bounce. Happened. So it's bounced off 104, pushed strongly to the upside, now at 104.45. So the question is it going to continue to sustain the break to the upside and push higher, and how much higher? Looking at this, I would go to the H4 time frame to find the next relevant point. We're here right now. Next relevant point, big relevant point will be up there. The resistance at 104.69 or 104.70. Check the daily. What am I doing? Why is that boxes? Take that one away. That's good. Trend line. I'm just looking to see whether a trend line would fit. Broken out. That's not going to work. That's broken as well. That's not going to work. No trend line that will fit there. Then back to the H1 time frame. So what we could anticipate is right now not that far away. I think this would be a reasonable short-term target to expect is for, I'll keep that there because I like that away, far away. that way. I like to clean. Okay, so let's clean up the charts, and we're looking at this as if the dollar, well, dollar is pushing higher, 104.46 right now. I'm looking for it to climb towards 104.70. Beyond that, level here, 105.10. Hit dot and I click. Okay. Now back to the present time. Straightforward enough. Say that on the 5th of, hey Booba, how you doing? We're looking for the dollar index to continue strength. Push to 104.7. Why I has, I think, pause here for a while. No, I think so. Okay, so continued strength, push to 104.70. Looking at a continued push to the upside for on the dollar index. Phantom refresh and work. Okay, phantom. That for the dollar. You don't always need to fly to make for that. I think upside. Okay, so with that, then looking at charts, the Aussie. All right, that's the end of the session. I'm going to start trading the Aussie now. Okay, Aussie to the downside, definitely. All right, so now we're looking at the Kiwi dollar breaking that support level. So Kiwi dollar worked very well for us last night. Good 30 pips, 40 pips to the downside. Take that away, and that. Breaking lower. Okay, we can take that one away as well. 4. That breaks 1 down here. Why I'm identifying this level is because I'm going to tell you that as much as dollar pushing down right now, right in the middle of that support and resistance, now resistance. Okay, so maybe take a little bit of, have a little bit of patience and wait it out, right? Try to sell from here, would have at best 20 pip take profit, a 20 pip stop loss, so 1:1 might work, but I would say that I would rather look for it to break 5850, so about 5840, 20 pip stop, you have a good 80, 90 pip to the downside, scroll all the way through. Middle here, or possibly current. Okay, so I'll rather wait for this to drop, break through that support, come down for the big move. The worst case, you could also have a 1:2. Best case, one is almost 1:5 to the downside. I don't see big move down, but based on the setup, that's how it will play out. Okay. A question there about explain how Bollinger Band works. Check out my profile. I have written extensively about the Bollinger Band, but how I use it, I look at it as if price is outside of the Bollinger Band, then I would anticipate that it's going to bounce back in a little bit to the line, or it's going to sit there and wait for the band to catch up. Unless it's a big news event, then it's going to continue all the way down, right? Something similar to this. Up here, when you see price shoot out way outside band, close the hour outside the band, it comes back in. Same thing here, right? So I'm looking for this to push down. However, I think that in the next 30 minutes, it might slow down here, or going to come back in a little bit before continuing downside. There we have it on Kiwi 584020. That worked out very well for us before. So sell 0.5840. Have that right? Yep. Stop loss 20. Take profit. Then let's do an easy Aussie dollar. So I prefer the Aussie dollar in this scenario because done. We can that one's done. We can take it away. I like the Aussie dollar, and I was saying this during the live stream as well. The previous one is that as it breaks, if it does break this support level, then we are going to anticipate further downside. Same thing, I have a big major support here, but I have an interim level here as well. Wait, don't rush in yet. I think there will be a bit of a rebound, but it's a little bit nearer compared to the Kiwi dollar. So I'm looking at 635. Seems a bit far away. Oh, stop loss 20. Take profit immediately. We'll have about 40 pips. Go down to 80 pips to the downside. Right, very similar to the Kiwi. Referring back the last previous points. That right. There we have it. Aussie dollar. Continuing with the downside. Right. If you had a trade from what we was talking about or during the news event, I would move it to break even, secure some profits even, and then continue pulling the take profit lower and continue holding that. If not, then I'll be looking at 6365, stop loss 20, take profit 80 pips. $0.635, stop loss 20, take profit. Okay. Sorry, can you explain why you want to go short below the price on Aussie dollar? Just a continuation. Dollar index strength pushing to the upside, going to lead to more downside on the Aussie dollar. The first reaction from the news, we saw the Aussie dollar dropping from the RBA rates decision. So I'm anticipating that it's going to drop down. If it closes below this support level, if it doesn't, it might bounce, but most likely it's going to, likely scenario is for it to trade low. Okay, good question there. Hope I answered your question there. Then onto the US yen. Same thing on the US yens. Was speaking about this, breaking up that consolidation. Needs to break above that resistance before looking to buy. Working out very nicely as well. Too many boxes. Let me take away this consolidation. Thank you, Tonya. I appreciate you guys for joining too. All right, so US yen pushed up right now about 30 pips to the upside. Take that away. I do believe that it's going to continue up to that same previous high, right? So I do think it's going to get up to this point here, which is 147.40 or 147.40. Too late to enter now if you haven't already. Too late to enter now. Look for it to get to that point. If it does break above this level, then could be looking for a continuation towards the next resistance at 148.27. But that is the point where alarm bells need to be not ringing, but starting to ring, right? Because it is very high. It is very high. I think that if we scale up to that point, when we're going to start hearing more talk about possible intervention from the Bank of Japan, right? A reignition of talk of intervention from the Bank of Japan. So can still trade it up, just be careful, keep your stop loss tight, or be quick to move it towards break even. Hi Ahmed, how are you doing? Hello again. So with that, looking for it to push up, I'm gonna go. If you're already in the trade, I would say hold on to it. Buys. What I'll be looking for is 147.50, above 147.50, 70 pip take profit, no more than 30 pips stop loss. I think what is going to happen here is that it's going to get up to this point, it's going to zigzag around before pushing, right? So it's not a straightforward move upside, so just be careful of that. That's why I've kept stop loss a little bit wider. So 147.50, 30 pips, buy 147.50, stop loss 30, profit 70. Go. Which time frame do you use to draw those levels? Right now I'm drawing on the H1 time frame. You can look on the H1 or you can do an H4. I would say that I'll recommend those two at the very most. Don't do it on too small time frame. Draw levels on a smaller time frame. You can have too many levels to draw. Draw on too big a time frame on a daily time frame, then you can have levels which are too wide apart. And most retail traders like yourselves don't tend to hold on for trades for too long. So H1 or H4 would be reasonable space in that support. And okay, again on okay, that I like. Now to the pound dollar. We're thinking, on a contrarian view, could the pound dollar push up? It did not happen. Did not even trigger the trade, so that was okay. Now pushing down towards this demand zone. Right, it's pushing down towards this area of 1.256, 1.250 in this area. Could possibly do with rising that support. This is down to okay. So now looking at the pound dollar again, comes down to the point. What I'm anticipating is for it to, that dollar strength, for it to push to the downside. However, I think that it looks like on pound dollar might come down to this point, bounce back up a bit, or continue down again. It all depends on how the dollar index is going to perform. I think that that's a likely move just from the way it's been moving at the end of August. So what I would anticipate, I'll still be looking to sell. I'm just thinking whether it's worth thinking to buy it on a bounce. Um, if it comes within this 1.2560 level, break below 1.2545, stop loss 30 pips, take profit 60 pips to the downside works. As a straddle at the support level, you could also be looking 1.2585, take profit 50, stop loss 30 for it to bounce back up. You could even be looking for it to come back towards that level, the dynamic of the trend line. But I like this move to the downside more. Okay, so 1.2545, 30 pip to, and the risk now is that we're looking at a lot of anticipating a lot of dollar strength, which could get us caught out. Add that in 545, stop loss 30, take profit. Can you explain your money management in loss? Do you go or move? Definitely not a martingale. Definitely not a martingale. That's it. That's an unmitigated downside. Move on with the lot size. I do continue on. I will have, if I have a loss, then I'll close out the trade and continue on looking for the next one. Every trade is dependent. Whatever happened over the previous trade is not cannot influence your next trade unless you've done something crazy with lot size. So treat every trade as. I'm waiting to go long on pound dollar from previous week low 1.262560 and see how it bounce from there. Yeah, 1.56. Yeah, there is that opportunity for the pound. This point could come down and bounce back up. So that opportunity rise. Um, but I think that the way this is moving looks like the pound dollar might, but something to watch because this has a very good risk to reward opportunity here on pound dollar. Sanmar and men R35, I agree. Martingale equals broke faster. Martingale depends on how much capital you have to trade. Okay, so next up, pro dollar. Take longer. Happen that away. That fib don't work anymore, so now it's all pushing the downside. Same thing, break, and you look at that. That's already cleared below those low, or trying to clear below that low from the 25th or last week. So now it just needs to close below before we see a continuation to the downside. That away. Hey Diana, if y'all say hey Diana, I'll watch out for that. Yeah, if I missed out on that bounce, do let me know as well. Let me know as well. Like a good bounce off a that push down, anticipating more downside. Our close like this could be interesting. It is outside of Bollinger, so it could bounce. Don't like the price action right now, so that's also fueling the thought that euro could bounce, the pound dollar could bounce. However, following the trend, we are looking 1.0755, stop loss 5, stop loss 25 or 20, 85, take profit, go down to that 80 pips downside. That would double bit of a level here. I'm not a professor. Euro dollar broke support. Okay, we now go short. Not hasn't broken yet. 15 minutes more for it to break. For that hourly candle to break. Careful of that. But I would say that that's possible. So it come down about a 1:1 first, and then shift to the downside. I do like this to continue down, unless of course it bounces back up. So two things to look out for on the euro is for it to close below this level, and also on the Bollinger Band, because it could bounce. Right, it could just come down like that, sit down this level and bounce for rest. So spending a bit of time on this, I want to see how it moves. Excited a bit, but it's almost like it fears moving down too much. What we're thinking for the pound dollar. Down cents. Euro dollar is just at that point, so it needs to break down. Okay, 1.0755, 5. Say that there will bound from 5.5. Stop loss, profit, but watch. So there is a good chance, good bounce from this point. Same like the pound dollar. But we're looking at trend following scenarios. If it does bounce, you like the pound dollar a bit more. Euro, you can see a quick bounce before continuation down. So this might push back up briefly before further downside again. Okay. Thanks for that, man. Get a professor hat. Okay, so with that, US Swiss franc did not drop as much as expected. Take that away. Now pushing back up. Dollar strength, pushing it up, needs to break above resistance. You have that point there at 8880. So we can take that one away. That up cents needs to break above 8880 before we're going to see more upside. I think that dollar is retracing. That's why we're seeing a little bit. Go long at above 8885. Take profit 30 pips, stop loss. Not a lot to be done there. Again, not one of my favorites. Okay. 8885. 0.5, stop loss, profit 30. Okay. Well, depends on the DXY strength to watch two levels for like 1.56, 548. Yes, I just hijacking great conversation there, but yes, 1.252 and 1.548. Yeah, that makes sense, and why I'm looking for it. If it does break down, then we could push, not possibly bounce around there before pushing. Okay, then onto the US CAD. Worked out very nicely. I had too many other trades to get on already, so US CAD came very low on the priority, but US CAD did push up very nicely as planned, right? As planned, 20 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit, went up towards that resistance. That's done and dusted. Let me know if you did get onto the US CAD, the Loonie. Happy to know that you guys profits. Knowledge Center 13 did the Kiwi dollar at the start, so do check the replay. What makes you decide how wide the stop loss? 30 or 20 pips or 50? It's always below that support or below that resistance level. So my stop loss in this case is always above that support level or above that support level or above or below that level. So it's always based on the level. Okay. So US CAD, the loonie, how much higher can it go if the dollar continues to strengthen? A lot of upside. It's reaching a key area, so just be careful of that. There is a big move here and an interim level about here. Okay, so back to the H1. Break above that resistance. It's gonna climb. It could climb. It all depends on the dollar index. Push up. Then look at the dollar strength. That dollar strength, amazingly wicked in a good sense, because giving us good easy trade setups. Okay, so US CAD push up 1.3670. Stop loss 20 below that level. Take profit could be about almost 60 pips to the upside. Stop loss 20, profit. What I would forewarn across the board is dollar index could push up, could continue up. However, if it does retrace, then a lot of the setups that we're talking about here maintain some level of flexibility or short-term flexibility, because it's not always going to move in a straight line. I do anticipate some retracements come back. Okay. Thank you, Sandman. Sure. Phantom FX, pro news out. It's falling. Well, I'm not too particular about these ones yet, but I do think it's falling. It is already showing that downside. Already showing downside. 6 minutes for the candle to close. Wait for it. A lot of waiting in trading. Have to wait for it. And then on to gold. We're talking about this in group head and shoulder pattern with the neckline at that 23.6 level. Broke that level, or set along that level through last night, broke early this morning. Looking at this with that head and shoulder pattern and the break of the neckline, anticipating that it could go down towards 930. from the current of 1935.8. So I will continue that view and say that it broke from and shoulder below 35 30. Good morning, Jamil. For providing such valuable and insightful analysis. No problem. Thank you so much, Diana. Appreciate that. We expect zigzag as it approaches Bollinger Bands. Not really a zigzag as it approaches Bollinger Bands, more if it's outside of the Bollinger Bands, we anticipate some retracements before possible continuation. And again, if you haven't already joined, well, firstly, those of you on TradingView, help me out. Click that little rocket ship button. And if you haven't, then do join the Discord channel. I think everyone on YouTube is a regular. So you guys know the Discord channel already. Do join and also book the one-to-one session. Thank you, Mohammed. Most welcome there. With all that, I zoomed through everything because I think that are some good setups that I love to try and get into. Pound dollar needs a bit of waiting. Euro dollar looks primed, good prime rip, and US franc not yet. US CAD breaking could get to that point. Okay, Naeem, thank you. You got this. I got this. You got this too. Thank you, Carsten. Thanks so much, Vel. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Etir. Thanks, Laney. With all that said, please trade well, trade safe. I will see you on Discord. If not, then I'll see you tomorrow, 3 p.m. GMT +8 at the same. Take care now. Bye.